at 2:17 a.m. In a freezing parking garage in Chicago, a man sat inside an old black sedan, engine off, windows fogged, laptop glowing in the dark. His name was Adrian Vale. 5 years earlier, he had walked into the tallest financial tower in the city with a dream. Not to work there, to change it. Adrian was a junior data analyst. Brilliant, quiet, invisible. He built a predictive financial model that could detect market shift weeks before they happened. He presented it to the board. They laughed. Too risky, too theoretical, too ambitious for someone at his level. 3 weeks later, they eliminated his position. Budget cuts. Security escorted him out. No goodbye. No second chance. Just a cardboard box. And silence. That night, he didn't go home because he didn't have one anymore. His savings were gone. His apartment lease expired. His girlfriend left 2 months before. So he moved into his car. Not because he failed, because he refused to quit. For 5 years. Adrian lived in parking garages and 24-hour gyms. He showered at public fitness centers, worked freelance coding jobs online, ate cheap, slept little. But every single night, from midnight to sunrise, he built something. He rebuilt his algorithm, improved it, connected it to AI neural networks, trained it on global data streams. While the world slept, he was preparing. Year 3. His system predicted a currency collapse in an emerging market. He didn't have much money, but he bet everything he had. He made his first million in 11 days. He didn't celebrate. He reinvested. Year 4. He launched a private quantitative hedge fund. Anonymous. No interviews. No social media. No face. Just performance. The returns were terrifyingly accurate. Whispers started in Wall Street circles. Who is behind this? No one knew. Year 5. The same financial tower that fired him was struggling. Bad investments, outdated models, leadership ego, stock price falling, confidence fading. And then, an acquisition offer arrived. Full buyout. Cash. Above market value. No negotiation required. The boardroom was silent. The mysterious buyer requested one thing. A private meeting. No assistants, no lawyers, no press, just the board. When the elevator doors opened, Adrian stepped out. Tailored charcoal suit, measured steps, calm eyes, no anger, no smile, just control. The same hallway he once left carrying a box, now echoed with different footsteps. The chairman recognized him instantly. You. Adrian nodded slightly. Yes, me. He didn't talk about revenge. He didn't talk about humiliation. He simply opened his tablet, projected market data on the glass wall, explained how their firm would collapse within 18 months without restructuring, explained how his system had already outperformed them for 3 consecutive years. Then he said one sentence. I'm not here to destroy what you built. I'm here to rebuild what you couldn't see. The deal closed in 48 hours. Adrian became CEO. But what happened next shocked everyone. He didn't fire the board. He didn't replace everyone. He promoted young analysts, funded internal innovation labs, installed AI infrastructure, created a housing support fund for struggling employees. And on the rooftop of the tower, he built something symbolic, a glass innovation lounge overlooking the skyline, engraved into the marble floor, built in silence. Opening night, city lights glowing, investors celebrating, champagne glasses clinking. Adrian stood alone by the window, looking down at the parking garage across the street. The same garage where he once slept in his car. He didn't feel anger, he felt gratitude, because comfort never built him. Struggle did, rejection did, Silence did. The camera would slowly zoom out, skyline glowing, his tower illuminated brighter than the rest. Voiceover. They didn't fire him. They funded his independence. They didn't reject him. They refined him. And sometimes, the lowest point in your life is just the foundation of the highest one. In a small desert town where nothing ever changed and no one ever left, there was a boy who stared at empty land as if he could already see something there. His name was Elias Noor. While other kids played soccer in dusty streets, Elias would draw. Not houses, not cars, cities, entire skylines rising from nothing, glass towers, vertical gardens, floating bridges, solar domes. People laughed. Dream smaller. This isn't Dubai. Be realistic. Even his teacher said it gently. Architecture like that only happens in big countries. But Elias never argued. He just kept drawing. At 19, he left. No money. One suitcase. Sketchbooks full of impossible designs. He moved to a massive coastal metropolis. Cold. Fast. Brutal. He worked construction by day, studied urban planning by night, while lifting concrete blocks. He memorized structural equations while mixing cement. He imagined cities powered by wind and light. But reality wasn't romantic. His scholarship got revoked. His savings disappeared. His visa almost expired. For a moment, the dream cracked. One night, standing on top of an unfinished skyscraper, looking at the endless city lights, he realized something. Cities weren't built by dreamers alone. They were built by people who understood systems. Power, capital, politics, timing. So Elias changed strategy. He didn't chase architecture first. He chased leverage. For the next 7 years, he entered real estate development, learned investment structures, mastered land acquisition, understood zoning law, networked quietly. He didn't post motivational quotes. He didn't show luxury watches. He studied how land turns into power. Year 8, a massive government infrastructure expansion was announced. Most developers ignored the desert region nearby. Too empty, too far, too risky. Elias recognized something: the transportation routes, the projected migration patterns, the energy grid expansions. It wasn't empty land. It was a future intersection. He bought thousands of acres. Quietly. No press. People laughed again. Desert boy buying sand. 2 years later, construction began. Not a building. A blueprint for an entire smart eco-city. Solar-powered districts. AI traffic systems. Self-sustaining water recycling. Vertical farming towers. Luxury residential zones. Investors rushed in. Government supported. Media exploded. The visionary behind the future city. They called it Noor City, a city built where nothing once stood. Opening night. Drone lights in the sky. Glass towers glowing against the desert horizon. Music echoing through the streets. Journalists asking, "How does it feel to prove everyone wrong?" Elias smiled slightly. I didn't build this to prove anyone wrong. He paused. I built this because I saw it before it existed. But here's the twist. Inside Noor City, there was one rule. Residency wasn't just about money. Applicants had to present innovation proposals. Businesses had to meet sustainability standards. Schools focused on creativity and systems thinking. It wasn't just a luxury city, it was a filter. The same people who mocked him years ago applied. Most were rejected, not out of revenge, out of alignment. Late one night, Elias stood on the highest observation deck, desert wind brushing against glass, looking at the glowing skyline he once drew as a child. He remembered the dusty streets, the laughter, the doubt, and he realized something powerful. They didn't mock his dream. They revealed who didn't belong in it. Voiceover ending. Vision isn't about seeing what exists. It's about recognizing what's inevitable. And sometimes, the ones who laugh at your blueprint simply don't have the clearance to enter your future. No one knew where he went. 5 years ago, Daniel Kareem vanished without a goodbye, without a warning, without a trace. No social media, no interviews, no public appearances. One day, he was just another ambitious architect in New York City. The next day, he was gone. People assumed he failed. Some said he went bankrupt. Others said he couldn't handle the pressure. But they were wrong. 5 years later, at exactly 8:45 p.m., a black convoy of cars stopped in front of the most expensive skyscraper in Manhattan. Inside the building, executives were in a closed-door meeting. They were discussing a buyout. A mysterious buyer had offered to purchase the entire building. Cash, no loans, no investors, no negotiations. The number was so high, no one dared to refuse. And then the doors opened. Daniel walked in, calm, sharp, unrecognizable. Tailored black suit, cold eyes, silent confidence. The same man they once ignored. 5 years ago, Daniel had pitched a revolutionary idea. A floating skyline extension project that would redefine urban luxury living. They laughed at him. They said it was impossible, too expensive, too ambitious. But Daniel didn't argue. He left. He spent 5 years in silence, studying markets, learning advanced AI architectural modeling, building connections overseas, investing quietly in emerging technologies. He didn't chase attention. He built power. And now, he wasn't back for revenge. He was back for ownership. The deal was signed in less than 12 minutes. The Skyline building that once rejected him now belonged to him. But that wasn't the real shock. The real shock came 3 months later, when construction began. Daniel revealed his true vision: a suspended luxury residential crown above the city, a transparent glass sky lounge, a rooftop infinity pool overlooking the entire skyline, private vertical gardens, AI-controlled smart penthouses. Not just a building, a symbol. The media exploded. Architect returns as billionaire visionary. The man who bought Manhattan's skyline. The silent genius. But Daniel didn't do interviews. Instead, on opening night, he hosted a private event. Only 50 guests, the most powerful people in tech, finance, and design. At midnight, the glass walls illuminated. The skyline reflected across the polished marble floors. A live orchestra played softly in the background, and Daniel stood alone by the panoramic window, not smiling, not celebrating, just watching. Because this was never about proving them wrong. It was about proving himself right. Success isn't loud. It's built in silence. Power isn't shown. It's revealed. And sometimes, the ones who disappear are the ones building something the world isn't ready for. In 2012, 2 young men stood on the rooftop of a half-finished building in Los Angeles. Cold wind, city lights below, dreams bigger than their bank accounts. Adam Rahal and Victor Kane, best friends since college, business partners, brothers in ambition. They had one vision: to build a luxury real estate empire. Not just buildings, landmarks. Adam was the visionary. He saw structures before they existed. He could walk into empty land and describe towers in detail. Victor was the strategist, charming, confident, connected, together. They were unstoppable, or so Adam thought. They launched a small development company. Long nights, cheap coffee, risky investments. After 2 years, they secured their first major project, a modern luxury high-rise overlooking the ocean. It was everything they dreamed of. Investors lined up. Banks approved funding. The future looked inevitable. Then one morning, Adam's keycard stopped working. Emails unanswered. Calls ignored. By noon, he received a legal notice. He had been removed from the company. Signed. Approved. Final. Victor had quietly restructured ownership months earlier. Adam trusted him. Signed documents without suspicion. What Adam thought were expansion papers were controlled transfers. Victor now owned 82%. Adam, nothing. When they finally met face to face, Victor didn't apologize. He didn't look guilty. He said something Adam would never forget. "You're a dreamer. I'm a builder. Dreamers don't own cities." That night, Adam lost his company, his reputation, his credibility. Investors believed Victor. Why wouldn't they? Victor had confidence. Adam had silence. For months, Adam disappeared. No social media, no interviews, no retaliation. People assumed he was finished. Victor's company exploded. Luxury towers, magazine covers, awards. Victor became the face of modern real estate success. And Adam? Forgotten. But silence is not weakness. Sometimes it's preparation. Adam spent the next 10 years studying something deeper than buildings. He studied power structures, global capital flow, offshore investment networks, private equity systems, sovereign wealth movements. He stopped thinking like a developer. He started thinking like a system. He built relationships in Asia, partnered with discreet investors in Europe, created anonymous holding companies. He never attacked Victor publicly. He did something far more dangerous. He waited. Year 9. Victor's empire peaked, over-leveraged, aggressively expanding, borrowing against future growth. It looked strong. But Adam saw the cracks. Too much debt, too much ego, too much speed. Victor built vertically. Adam built invisibly. Year 10. A market shift hit. Interest rates climbed. Luxury demand slowed. Credit tightened. Victor needed liquidity. Fast. Then came the offer. A private acquisition firm offered to buy controlling stakes in his projects. The offer was generous, relieving. Victor signed. 3 months later, he discovered the truth. The acquisition firm belonged to Adam. The meeting took place in a glass conference room, the same ocean view high-rise that was once their dream project. Victor walked in, older, tired, still proud. Adam stood by the window, tailored navy suit, calm, composed, not angry. Victor spoke first. "You planned this?" Adam turned slowly. "No." He paused. "You created it." Adam didn't scream, didn't threaten. He simply explained the numbers, the leverage, the ownership chain, the legal structure. Victor had unknowingly sold 68% of his empire to the man he betrayed. Control. Gone. And then Adam said something colder than revenge. "I never wanted your buildings." He looked around the skyline. "I wanted the land beneath them." Adam had quietly acquired surrounding properties for years. Utilities, access roads, future expansion rights. Victor built towers. Adam controlled the ground. Within a year, Victor was out, not publicly humiliated, just replaced. Adam rebranded the empire, but he didn't erase Victor's name out of bitterness. He left one building untouched, the very first one they dreamed of. Because Adam wasn't fueled by revenge anymore. He was fueled by evolution. On the anniversary of their betrayal, Adam stood alone on a penthouse balcony, city glowing below, wind steady. He whispered something no one else heard. Dreamers don't own cities. He looked at the skyline he now controlled. They designed them. At 11:43 p.m., the screens turned red. Phones started ringing. Voices shouting across a glass trading floor in New York. And in the middle of the chaos stood a man who didn't move. His name was Kareem Al-Sayej. At 32 years old, he had built a hedge fund from nothing. No inheritance, no powerful family, no shortcuts, just precision. He was known for one thing: he never lost. Until that night. A global financial shock, a sudden regulatory shift, a chain reaction no model predicted. Within hours, Kareem's fund collapsed. Investors panicked. Partners vanished. Media attacked. Overconfident. Too aggressive. Another young ego destroyed by the market. By sunrise, he wasn't a rising star. He was a cautionary tale. Lawsuits followed. Assets frozen. Reputation erased. Friends stopped calling. The same executives who once asked for meetings avoided eye contact. And then came the quiet part. The dangerous part. Silence. Kareem disappeared from the public eye. Not to escape, but to observe. For the first time in his life, he wasn't playing the game. He was studying it from outside. He realized something uncomfortable. The market wasn't chaotic. It was structured chaos, influenced, directed, anticipated by those with deeper visibility. He hadn't lost because he was reckless. He lost because he was playing checkers in a chess world. So he rebuilt differently. He moved to Singapore. No announcements, no luxury. A small apartment overlooking the port. Every morning at 4 a.m., he analyzed macroeconomic data, shipping routes, energy flows, commodity movements, government debt patterns. He stopped chasing trades. He studied systems. Years passed. No headlines, no interviews, just data. He built an AI macrostructure engine capable of detecting long-term capital shift before they surface publicly. Not daily volatility, decade movements. He wasn't predicting waves anymore. He was mapping tides. Year 7. His private model predicted a massive infrastructure boom in Southeast Asia. Before the public announcements. Before institutional positioning. He quietly accumulated land proxies, logistics assets, supply chain equities. He didn't go all in. He scaled slowly, controlled, invisible. Year 10. The boom happened. Governments announced trillion-dollar development plans. Infrastructure exploded. Shipping demand soared. Energy contracts expanded. Kareem's portfolio multiplied. Not 2 times, not 5 times, 30 times. But no one knew it was him. He used layered entities, distributed funds. Silence remained his strategy. Year 12. The same financial media outlet that destroyed him years earlier published an investigative piece. A phantom fund is outperforming every major institution. Speculation grew. Who was behind it? A tech billionaire? A sovereign wealth fund? A secretive family office? Then came the invitation. Global Economic Summit. Closed-door forum. Top financial leaders only. The Phantom Fund was invited. They requested the founder's presence. The room was filled with people who once doubted him. Some who sued him. Some who mocked him publicly. The doors opened. Kareem walked in. Older, sharper, calmer. Not flashy. No dramatic entrance. Just presence. The moderator introduced him. Gasps, whispers, disbelief. He was supposed to be finished. He wasn't just back. He was ahead. They asked him the obvious question. How did you recover from total collapse? Kareem didn't smile. He answered slowly. I didn't recover. Pause. I evolved. He explained the difference between reacting to markets and understanding structural power, between short-term noise and long-term direction, between visibility and influence. He didn't brag, he educated, because this time, he wasn't chasing approval, he controlled access. After the summit, major institutions requested partnerships. Governments sought advisory agreements, but Kareem declined most of them. Not out of arrogance, out of clarity. He didn't want exposure. He wanted precision. One evening, standing alone on a balcony overlooking Marina Bay, city lights reflecting on calm water, he replayed that night 12 years ago. The red screens, the panic, the humiliation. And he realized something. That night didn't destroy him. It freed him. It forced him to stop playing the visible game and start mastering the invisible one.